You countdown, you not gonna work on me? H2R graphics, friends. Well, fine. We'll just do it like this. I was trying to get Jesus in the shot, fellas, but H2R did not like it. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Let me know how things are looking and sounding on this lovely Friday. I'm happy to have you joining wherever you're watching from. I'm gonna pop over on my phone just to make sure things are looking and sounding correct. So far, so good, as far as I can tell. Let me know in the chat where you are joining from. Awesome, we got Jake in the house. Good to have you on the live stream today, Jake. Elijah, faithful. Glad to have you back, man, looks good. Technical Geek, AVL. You're gonna teach us some stuff today, hopefully. He says, sounds great. Good deal. Well, let me know where you're hopping in from. You got some from down south of me. Texas will allow it. And then obviously all the way over from Germany. Man, my DSK is not dialed in perfectly today. I don't know what I did, but we'll have to live with it. Perez, what's up? Oh my goodness, fellas, we're gonna have to fix this. Hold on. Let's see. My clip? No, that's not it. I think it's my H2R settings are not quite right on what black I'm using. Or maybe it doesn't really matter. It's just for chat. We'll have to live with it. I don't have true alpha and key set up for this. And I want to make sure I'm not adding any little... Okay, good. Ireland! I put it up there, I didn't even realize. What's up, Sam? Music a little loud compared to your voice. How about that? You like that better? Thank you. We need each other. I'm doing too many things here. I need a producer. I need a remote producer. What up, LBJ? Glad to have you back. Hello from Ghana. Joshua, sorry about your profile pic. Man, I don't remember what I did. Maybe I had it on green screen. I've been doing some testing, y'all, with a top secret device that I cannot say anything about. It's embargoed. I don't know if I'm supposed to even say that, but it releases soon. I was gonna do this live stream with it, but too many things were driving me crazy, so I switched everything back and I thought I had everything good to go. But obviously, you know, you ever do that? The youth come in and practice on Wednesday night and then you forget to recall the scene on the X32. That happened this last Sunday. That was fun. Josh, it's artsy. Look how artsy you are. It looks like you're wearing a crown. Oh, yeah, that's art. I love it. Y'all gonna love me at the end of this. Oh man, it's gonna be a fun live stream, y'all. Thank you for hopping in the chat today. It's gonna be great. And excited for a lot of fun stuff today. We've got some games to play, a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So I'm gonna wait for this countdown to end and do this intro correctly. Here we go. Well, welcome back to another Friday live stream, guys. Thanks for hopping on. If we haven't met yet, my name is Rylan Russell. I'm a worship and media arts pastor right here in Owasso, Oklahoma. It's just north of Tulsa, up here in green country, as we like to call it, in the 918. And I hope that your week has been great. If you're off on Friday like me, that thanks for giving me just a little bit of your time and investing back in yourself. If you are a volunteer or you're on staff doing worship and media tech stuff at your church, this is a time where like iron can sharpen iron, and we can come together. We can talk about maybe questions that you might have, things that you're battling or things that you're trying to figure out at your church, and we can dive into those together. And we're going to spend a lot of time reviewing each other's live streams. And today I'm excited because today on the live stream, we have the one and only Brad Bramer in the house. So I want to bring him in, and you guys help me welcome in the chat. Give it up for Brad today. Let's go.
Oh, the horn. Thank you so much for the horn.
Yes, and the Michael Scott thank you. Because, Brad, thanks for joining us, man. You are basically Insta-famous, it seems.
Well, hey, I'm glad content is something that other people like. We started posting some stuff, and just really it's a chance to celebrate my team, to draw some awareness to some of the unforgotten people in church work. And so it's been fun.
Yeah, dude. I think, I think that's how most of us probably came to understand and see some of the stuff you're doing. And I think the thing that really has connected the most for me is really just seeing your heart behind a lot of the posts. Like, I love that you share a lot of that, and just some of the behind the scenes, the tech stuff is cool, but really sharing like the heart of like, yeah, we're doing tech, but here's the why behind it. So tell us a little bit about, if people don't know who Brad is, where are you, what are you doing there, and share that.
Yep. So I'm Brad. Hi. I'm from the Louisville, Kentucky area. Lived in Cincinnati, Lexington for a bit. Been on staff at Southeast Christian Church for 9 years here in Louisville, Kentucky. We're a church of 30,000 plus in weekend attendance, spread out among 16 campuses here in Louisville and Indiana. And I oversee our worship and production and creative teams here, with a whole lot of just amazingly talented, humble, ministry-minded people. And so really grateful to hop on today and hang with you, Rylan.
So like on a Sunday, what does your typical Sunday look like because what is your official title?
Worship and Creative Arts Executive Producer.
Okay.
And so something that we, an unofficial maybe mantra of ours on the team is when Sundays come, or for us, we have Thursday night services and Sunday services. What your title is doesn't so much matter on the weekends. Everyone's jumping in to serve, and that's something that's modeled by our executive team, obviously our team. And so it's not uncommon for our executive team to be serving in children's ministry on a weekend. And I very much view my role on a weekend as obviously casting vision, making sure the communication's taken care of, assets are dropped and things like that. But more than anything else, tactically, if there's a spot to sub in, or if there's a hole somewhere, I'm going to jump in and try to do my best to carry that area however I can.
That's cool, dude. There's this one quote that you had that I wanted to just ask you about before we dive into some of these live streams. And guys, in the chat today, Brad is a wealth of knowledge. Like, if you've ever ran across any of his Instagram stuff, like, I'm always blown away by just the technical knowledge that he has. Yes. So if you have any questions, drop those in the chat, and if we have time, we'll try to get to those. But there was this one post that resonated with me where you said something that you said, it's not just about getting the job done. It's about maintaining a joyful spirit as you serve. And I was curious, like, how do you do that? Like, what are some ways? Because I think that's a thing that, like, tech guys, we can get known for being just these, like, negative Nancy guys that are just, like, locked in our caves and, don't bother us and don't complain to us. Like, is there things you do on a Sunday that you try to have that joyful spirit and impact the environment there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it by any stretch of the means, but joy is a fruit of the Spirit. And so a lot of that starts with, if you are someone who is submitting your life to the leading, directing, and informing of the Holy Spirit, then that fruit will be produced in you just by spending time with Jesus. And so have a life, have a attitude, have a perspective that is radically submitted and radically informed by Jesus is maybe the biggest one. And if it's not a fruit, it needs to be a discipline. And so if I think most of us could write a list of people that we would love to work with and what those attributes are. Most of us would not say someone who's cynical or jaded or, upset or quick to, throw somebody under the bus. Therefore, let's be the standard that we want, the people around us to be, our volunteers to be, our coworkers to be, and don't ease up on that because people will rise to your standard 9 times out of 10 if you hold it and you call people up to it.
That's good. So you want all sound guys to have a mint jar, is what I'm hearing.
Hey, our LD, Sheldon Peterson, shout out, one of the most talented dudes I've ever been around. He just started buying small bags of wintergreen mints. And I kid you not, I can go through about 90 to 150 of them during a service.
What does that what does that do to a man's body though? Is that good for us? I don't know.
Well, I still treat my body like a 7-year-old, and so it's chicken tenders, fries, and mints. Is pretty much, and coffee. So that's pretty much what I got going on.
It's cleansing you from the inside out, I guess, that way.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
I mean,
on a more practical level, on the joyful thing. It's a lot easier to be joyful when you really invest and have good working relationships. And where a lot of production folks or a lot of worship and creative folks can isolate during the week, we have really tried to put a lot of emphasis in our areas on how we work together, not just getting the work done. And, if there's a problem that's this big, deal with it when it's this big so it doesn't grow arms and legs and becomes... a deficit of resentment or bitterness, or, it's deal with it before it's actually hard to assume the best in the people around you.
Yeah, no, that's really good, man. All right, you ready to jump into some of these live stream reviews?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, our first submission comes from Hillcrest Baptist, and they are running some Canon R50s, which are like some really budget-friendly mirrorless stuff with Sigma glass, A10 Mini Extreme, and then their audio is coming from a stereo bus into an X32. So probably pretty similar to what a lot of churches, mid-sized churches, are kind of running. So let's listen to what they're running. Guys in the chat, chime in with what you're hearing, and we'll kind of go from there. So here we go. Yeah, it's a little quiet on the overall mix, is what YouTube is telling me there. At least from Stats for Nerds. So they're rocking a choir, grand piano, open lid, praise team, and then we'll listen once they kind of kick in big here to see how things come together.
Oh yeah, that backline spread out wide.
Yeah. I don't know what's on the ceiling lights. I like it almost looks like a spaceship.
Little maybe some pennants or something.
Yeah.
One of our campuses has that strung out over their the crowd. It's a really engaging way to, supplement house light.
All right, here comes some drums and stuff.
You were buried for 3 days, but then you walked right out again.
Love that the folks on stage are leading, man. It's great. Even in the choir, not just singing.
We're going to let that play a little bit. I think one question that I have, because this is something we dealt with, is grand pianos. You know, you've got it off to the side over there, drums on the total opposite side, so that is a good thing. You have a lot of stage to work with, but we struggled miking our grand piano, and eventually we got rid of it. But, like, if you do want that grand piano, have you had much experience? Like, what tips would you give for miking a grand piano like that with a choir on stage?
Man, I would probably be a really awful person to talk about miking pianos. We have a guy on our staff who worked in Nashville studio for a long time and, you know, is really good. My experience miking them in a live setting, we used to have orchestras on stage with about a I don't know, probably 150 person choir. We do four orchestral things about once a month. And we ended up going to a Nord and a Shell just because trying to get tonality and actual low ends and top ends, it just became such a bleed and such a mid-heavy presence versus an actual, you know, piano. You want that deep lows and those top ends just to get some presence and cutting from it. You know, I don't know if it's real or not. Looks nice though.
Yeah, I think it is real because they've got the Nord there next to it. It sounds like a real piano to me, but it sounds, because it doesn't sound like that clarity to me. I mean, you could throw an Earthworks system on it or the DPA, you know, mics that will magnetize to the actual soundboard and close the lid maybe. But it's just, do you want to invest, you know, a few $1,000s into a miking system?
Yeah, I think our production director used to throw some of those 414s on them, which, you know, is, I think, our diaphragm mics. But, yeah, it's if you know it, it's a science. And if you don't know it, it's probably because you grew up with electronic pianos.
Sure. What about miking a choir of 30 voices like this, mixing it with a team? Are you doing any special tricks on the board to kind of, you know, do any like side chaining or somehow getting more gain before feedback?
Yeah, so this is probably an unpopular opinion. I don't sidechain at all in a live environment. A lot of it's just because it's too high risk, and I try to build out a session that you can troubleshoot things quickly. You can also adjust things quickly without a lot of other dominoes being attached to them, and sidechain is one of those that some people can figure it out. I just personally have never gotten into it. I choose to just carve out my EQ spots for it so that you don't need as much separation. As far as choir mics, high pass and low pass is obviously your best friend. I try to run something like BGV, you know, assuming they have, I don't know, 2-3 sets of mic, pan them wide, you know, have a left, right, center kind of stereo image on them. I would high pass a little higher than you want. No one needs low mid from a choir mic. Mm-hmm. You really want it occupying a lot of that. You know, a lot of that 1K, more warmth and mid range. You don't need a lot of presence from it either because you want it to sound like, you know, I think Lee Fields told me, this is me quoting Lee, quoting maybe Chris Greeley. It's like, you want your choir mics to sound like a bag choir, because really how they need to be occupying the space is to sound like the congregation, not to sound like a studio, you know, mix. Because you don't need the bleed, you don't need the top ends. Let that be for your lead vocalist, your lead instrumentation. Let the choir be the sound of the congregation coming through the PA.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about video for a minute. These little R50s, honestly, I think the picture quality, they look pretty good. The white balance on your singers and stuff looks pretty solid. Your vocalists there out front, they seem to be okay exposure-wise. I think the thing I'm missing is, like, any of your instrumentalists, they're so far off to the sides on the wings that if you could add some you know, shots over there that are just locked off that you could bail to on instrumental parts maybe. I mean, the pacing is okay, but you're just going to locked off shots. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good example. Like this gentleman who's leading right now, he's up on that platform, kind of away from that front line. And so when they take that tight shot, I think he has just someone's chin in the bottom shot. I don't know if there's a real estate reason that they're not down there with them, or you can't pack that in a little bit more and even bring the choir a little bit more in like a full U shape. That's a big deal. The other thing specifically, to me, one of the biggest untalked about tricks in video capture is just your lighting saturation level. And so much of the blooming that's coming from the little strip lights, lighting that wall, or even the motion background, those deep blues, people are amazed at how desaturated our worship center is on a week to week. And so much of it is to really work with the camera sensor, the lens, and make sure that your colors are being captured in a transparent way. That could take some give and take on what it feels like in the room and how high contrast it is versus, what it looks like on camera. However, it's usually the magic sauce in getting the most transparent and even just bright capture. The other thing I would say, if you're going to prioritize your stream, is turn up your house lights. Mm-hmm. Being dynamic with your house lights is a really big deal. Even if they're not, RGB, or even if they're not color changing. Church is about people, not about a platform. And working to engage the people in your room in some way, shape, or form, besides just dark little, head silhouettes, is a worthwhile investment of everyone's time.
Yeah, I think that it looks like they may have some lights shining out there, and that may be a camera setting even too, just crushing blacks, where we don't have enough dynamic range, where you're lighting up the stage a lot, and it may in the room not feel that dark, but your cameras may make it feel a lot darker to the stream. So yeah, it's just finding that balance. So
I think if you've gone to a church, if you do site visits or whatever else, or even can go check out someone that has great house lighting or a great house capture in their stream, you should go there during a rehearsal or something midweek, or see if you can get away and get coverage on a Sunday, if that's that's applicable cool in your context. What you will walk away thinking is, wow, this is so much brighter than I would think. And a piece of that is I remember having to kind of lead and teach our congregation, not through words but just through actions, that you actually worshiping in the crowd is just as much leading worship visually than the people on stage. And trying to really merge those divides in the room is something really worthwhile. Speaking of crowd light, there you go.
There you go. We're going play some football. Let's go, baby. Well, thank you guys for submitting that live stream. Hopefully some of that feedback is helpful to you guys. I think we had a good question that maybe you can touch on as I get our next one fired up here. Any thoughts on reverbing, or the EQ of our reverb? What do you do to treat the reverb that you're throwing on different things?
Yeah, I high pass my vocals at minimum around 225, 250, sometimes up to 300, depending on what's going on and what the voice is. Reverb, I would do the exact same way.
You're saying you're high cutting the actual vocal EQ.
The actual vocal, yeah.
Even males?
Yes. Because we work with a lower decibel level at our context, what usually ends up peaking first, or what ends up, coming through at the hottest gain level, is all that in the, 200s or 100s. And so I don't want all the boominess of the vocal to be the thing slamming a compressor. I want the mid-range or mid-top to be the thing hitting. And then that'll bring up the bottom end versus this just crushing everything down when, if your plosives are the thing blowing out your compressor, it's not actually treating the character of your voice. And so start with a clear voice, and it should sound like it sounds when you're talking to somebody, or when you're singing, or when you're sitting next to somebody. As far as like effect treatment, it's the exact same way. What space do you want reverb occupying? I tend to not want a lot of mid-range 500 to like 2K in my effects, just because that's where guitars are sitting. It's usually where vocals sitting. So I want the reverb to occupy space around it versus on top of it. And so yeah, I'll do a big, to no one's surprise, I will do a big mid-range cut on a lot of my vocals and vocal effects to create just room around it.
And then Aaron asks, do you stack reverb effects? Like, do you have favorite waves that you're stacking?
Generally speaking, we'll have a shorter reverb and a delay for a lead vocal group. And then we'll have a longer delay for background vocal group. And we have a console that allows you to, essentially create snapshots to dump certain input channels in certain groups. If not, I would get a, 2.5 second generic vocal plate or something like that on your vocal bus and do a. I don't like time delays. I like delay to feel more like space than synced. And so if you do a dotted eighth or a, just kind of set it and forget it to create width in the vocal more than vocal effect or treatment or stuff like that.
Okay. Now, before we move on to our next one, I do have a question for you. I've noticed in a lot of your videos on Insta that it appears that y'all have an A2 or like a second audio guy there, usually standing there. What is that? What's the purpose of that role? And like, when is a church ready to add somebody doing that role?
We actually don't have an A2. So that is Heath West, who is our new front of house engineer, who came down from Canada. And so the last couple months, that role sat empty for, probably about a year or plus. And a lot of my videos started when I was filling in. So I'm not our typical front of house guy. And so Heath, who's the tall, good looking guy that's usually hanging out with me, he moved down from Canada. His family, are awesome. And a lot of the last couple of months has been translating. He's from a post studio environment. And so how to translate that skill set into a live environment. And so a lot of it has just been more hands-on training. We were doing it a lot together. He ran for a little bit, and now that he kind of knows what he knows and knows what he doesn't know, and he's learning and onboarding again with some context. As far as A2s, we used to have them. We used to have them when we mic'd everybody in the baptistry. And sometimes that is the best time. If you have a complicated service where you have 8-9 channels of wireless and different people coming on and off and talking at different times, that is 9 times out of 10 the time that you need an A2. Every other time, I think it's if you're a staff member or a part-time staff member running front of house, it's your job to know service and to know your program and to know your flow. You don't need one. If you're onboarding a volunteer, give them an A2. The more information you can present them with, everyone gets caught up in transitions, not because they're difficult, but because it's the least practiced thing. And you don't have as much muscle memory for how to fade out a video, fade up the band, fade up a handheld. You don't have that unless you do it a lot. And so give them an A2 to remind them, hey, just a reminder, we got this handheld number 2 coming out, video's going down, band's going to underscore. That little note, even if it can be an asterisk on a sheet of paper, number one, it's a great spot for a volunteer to serve and help and take something up 10, 15%. It's also a great way to care for a volunteer person who's operating your console.
That's great. Are you running like scene snapshots throughout the service, like song 1, song 2, like so things are kind of preset?
Yeah, so we tune vocals. And as far as front of house, the only thing that is changing with snapshots is vocal tuning, which is just real tune. I think, Waves plug in. It's just changing the keys. And then, like I said, we have a lead group and a BGV group. And so the only thing snapshots are changing are who's in the lead group and who's in the background vocal group, and essentially keys of songs, so that we can help produce vocals a little bit better, and really showcase and celebrate background vocals and treat those a little bit more intentionally.
That makes sense. Cool. All right, let's move on to our next live stream review. This one comes to us from Harmony Church. And one of their main questions that they had for me was that they've recently moved everything up to a studio setting where they're like doing everything through Pro Tools. And so they're very new to like Dante, and they had questions about like, what switches do we buy for Dante? Like, we don't know anything about this stuff. And just if you have any Pro Tools tips, and running things on a totally separate mix. So let's just listen to it a little bit, and we'll give them some feedback. Here we go.
Oh, he did it, it's finished, and this is why we sing, long live the king. There's freedom in the air today. Your victory is made away. Our God is alive, let's bring him praise. Don't hold back.
This is probably a total preference thing. I really have a hard time with lowercase lyrics and like and title caps on the first line and that kind of stuff. You know, the other thing I was going to say, even in the last one, this one's a bit better, is really protecting where your lyrics go.
Yeah.
And if you just have an invisible kind of guard and Pro Presenter or whatever to go, don't let, you know, you don't need to stack 4 words in 2 lines and have 8 words on, you know, 1 line. Just that small attention to detail when you're building slides goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like exclamation marks, you know, I don't trust my grammar to do that super well long term.
Just go all caps. You don't have to worry about the grammar Nazis. Sorry, I don't know if you're not allowed to say that.
Break off all your chains. Break off all your chains. Today is the day. Today is the day. Oh, bring him all your praise. He is worthy. He is worthy. The name above all names. He is worthy. He is worthy. Oh, bring him all your praise. He is worthy. He is worthy. The name above all names. He is worthy. He is worthy. Dance for joy in the reign of Jesus.
It's another example where, you know, crowd light would take you such a long way right here.
Yeah.
Specifically when your crowd is bringing so much energy in the room, you know, celebrate that.
Yeah. All right, so this is a church where obviously there's a lot of energy in the room, and I can hear a lot of that. You're talking about seeing a little bit of, what are y'all doing for audience miking? What tips would you give us? That's a big conversation that a lot of churches are always having. If there's nothing to capture, then there's no reason to worry about it heavily. If your church doesn't sing, but like, what tips would you give?
I'd say figure out the best spot to capture the natural sound of your room. Sometimes that's from stage, sometimes that's dropping down from the ceiling, and sometimes that's making, you know, some sort of inverted U around them. We've experimented with putting mics on the sides of our auditorium, shooting across. We've experimented with a lot of things. Currently, we have 4 Sheps, I think two 414s, and some sort of mid-side configuration in the back of our room. And a lot of that is to give us flexibility, because sometimes certain sections aren't singing, and so we know, you know, how to rely on certain mics for certain moments. We have a guy that ends up coughing a lot during one mic, you know, that's kind of embedded in the crowd. And so it gives us a little bit of flexibility around that stuff. The other thing as far as crowd is, I think it's, you know, the crowd is the most engaging, to me, the crowd is the most engaging thing to someone watching online. And it is the difference between watching a music video and feeling like you're a part of the church. Mm-hmm. And so specifically, you have people consistently, you know, watching online, or if you want to keep investing in that, I think really trying to get that right. That's the difference in saying, do I want to be a part of that community versus do I like that product on stage?
Ooh.
And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, churches are church. You want to give a transparent window into what your church is like, not just what your platform is like. And so celebrate your crowd, listen to them, hear them, see them. put cameras that give you a crowd perspective as to what's going on, so that when you walk in the doors of your church, you kind of know what to expect, and you've already made the decision. I want to be in a room with these people. It's fun.
Bro, like, I think you've summed up what we have talked about so much on this channel. I mean, I've reviewed thousands of live streams. We talk all the time about stop putting your cameras up as a fly on the wall on the top of your balconies. Like, get them down like this camera, where it's like you feel like you're there. You're in there with the church, because like you want to feel like I'm there with everyone and not watching y'all do church. I'm with you in the room, and like you said, like, I want to see what it's like to be a part of the church, not the product that you're producing. I love that. So,
and the other thing on this channel specifically, you see that choir over there, kind of all the way stage left, no light. Most churches are multi-generational, and I know so many churches probably have this tension that you are forced to do things because of the history of your church or the preferences of your elder board or your pastor or certain demographics. It's going to be so much better for you to own that decision and celebrate it versus, I'm not saying this is what they're doing,
right,
but try to mask it or mitigate it or push it to the side. In some ways, choirs are the best thing to celebrate the full width of the people that are a part of your community and that are part of your church. And so if you're a church that uses them, work hard to use them intentionally. It's worth it.
That's cool, man. Hey, let's listen to drum sounds for just a minute. Yep. That's always an interesting thing as they drop out and don't play.
There is no one like Jehovah. There is no one like Jehovah.
Come on, give me some drums.
There is no one like Jehovah. There is no one like Jehovah.
Really?
There is no one like Jehovah. 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 One more time, y'all. No one like Jehovah. There is no one like Jehovah. There is no one like Jehovah. There is no one like Jehovah. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds.
God, this is taking me back to youth camp, 1998. Man, let's go.
I think drums could probably be a little bit more present in the mix, but if you're sharing a stereo bus, then you could have a lot of bleed in that room, and it feels great in the room. I don't think. Here's another maybe hot take. I think it's more important for your live stream to sound not bad than it is to sound really great. And so something like this that you feel the energy of the room. The mix may not be like built for an online environment, but you get the energy, you get the feel, and it feels right. And I think that's more important than the right studio record levels being accurately represented.
I would much rather it feel too live than perfectly polished studio sounding.
Always. And you can hear the worship pastors, you can hear them communicating, you can hear them singing. I think you can feel the energy of the room, and even the mix. There's not a lot of drum. I like drum heavy mixes personally, just because I think drums give so much great energy. You could hear some of that top end. I don't know if that's like tracks or EG or piano or something like that. You heard so much of that, up here. It's not bad. I think you can try to push into that, kick and snare a little bit. Cymbals sound good, just to get kind of know your downbeats and hear your twos and fours. But aside from that, feels right.
That's cool. Hey, I love the energy that Harmony Church is bringing there. So props to you guys. Do you have any thoughts there just on that question of like Dante Audio Network? Do you have a preferred network switch stuff that you're using? Is it Netgear stuff?
I would prefer to contact a systems engineer and have that conversation.
Okay. All right. I mean, I could look on our quote that we've got, and we just literally talked about this 2 days ago, and our guys were saying these are great because it just works with Dante. You have settings that you go in and say blah, blah, blah. But I don't know anything about Dante. We've never used it.
Yeah, we have a guy on our team who's our network and systems engineer who has spoiled everybody and given us the ability not to do the hard homework of Googling and researching all these things, because he's just a wealth of information and knowledge.
That's funny. All right, so we're going to take just a quick break from doing live stream reviews because I want to play a little game, if that's okay with you. You up for it? All right.
I'm up. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
it's a little quick one that we're going to do, and we're going to call this Guess the Tech. All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, Brad. So I have investigated your Instagram, and I have 6 items that we're going to compete with the chat today, and we're going to see who can guess these items based on the silhouette of the item. So you have experience with all of these items, okay? So this first one, we're going to start off with a softball, okay? So let's see. You have to get it correct. Tell me what this item is right now. Do you know what this is?
This feels like the universal audio mic that I'm currently
Let's
using.
see
right
if
in front
he
of my
is correct. It is the Universal Audio SD1.
Yeah. That is an easy one. I appreciate that.
That one was pretty easy.
Yeah, you guys are going to learn quickly. I'm not nearly as scientific as you give me credit for.
All right, let's go on to our next item here. A little bit bigger. These are not to scale, by the way. Not to scale at all.
Okay. Looks like that has a cover on it. By the shape of it, I'm going to go with either a SD8 or a CL5.
What do you guys think in the chat? Put it in there. Let's see if you get it right. And we are going to reveal now. And it is the Digico SD8.
There you go. Old Faithful.
Are you using that at front of house? What are you?
We have SD8 at front of house. We just updated broadcast. So we consider broadcast console because it feeds online on our campuses the more stable one that we want to invest in. But we have a couple year upgrade plan to get Quantum at front of house as well.
All right. Okay, let's go into our next one here. What is this item?
Ooh.
What do you guys think in the chat?
Well, I'll give a moment for the chat. I know what it is.
Okay.
Although I'm interested to see if you got the right.
What did I just do?
I'm interested to see if you got the right model on it.
Did I just break everything? There we go.
That is a Canon C300 Mark II.
It is.
There it is.
There you go. Good job. We got it. Yeah, that is an odd shape. So, and that is what you guys are using for cameras currently?
That is what we use in online and on broadcast. So every handheld, except for the podium cameras, which are C700s, everything else in our room is a C300 Mark II, which are getting harder and harder to buy, but you still can refurbished.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
All right, how about this item right here?
I think I know what that is.
I think you'll be the only one that knows what this is.
Okay, okay.
I think people would guess, I would guess a different model. I have a light that's very similar.
Yep. You may say it?
Say it.
We ready? All right, that looks like a JDC1 strobe.
Yeah, it looks like a Jolt, maybe, is what I would think, you know.
Yep. Shout out to Shelly. Those are our house lights. Those are our crowd lights. And also, big effect lights on stage. So we have JDCs over our crowd. Big deal. Game
Nice.
changer.
All right, we got 2 more. Here we go.
That is a, can I say it?
Say it.
All right, that seems to me to be a 17 to 120.
I knew you were going to get it. Yeah. It's the...
we have 3 of those. They're awesome. I think they're the most versatile lens in a live environment that you can actually walk around with. So we have one on our jib. We usually have one on an easy rig somewhere, and I think our online team also uses that, or maybe a 18 to 80 or something like that. They're awesome.
Nice. All right, last one here. What is this?
I'm going to go with, is it the old one or the new one? Based on the width alone, I'm going to say that's the Adamson Y10s, but it could be the clear or the.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint.
One. It's
this
the.
Is from, I'll give you a hint.
Old or new?
This is from youth camp. You use this at youth camp.
Oh, K2.
Ding, ding, ding! Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, you went.
Yeah. Our current PA is the Cohesion Co-10 rig, which is a much narrower box than our old Adamson's, and so the fact that I forgot about the CIY walkthrough that we did with old Kevin Binky.
Yeah.
A gem of a human being.
Hey, you batted 1,000, so good job.
Hey, that's good. Boosting my confidence.
How'd you guys do in the chat? Hopefully you knew some of those. Those were pretty niche to, exactly the equipment Brad's using there at Southeast. Yeah. But some of those maybe you could have grabbed. I mean, the C300, C200, I could see somebody threw that in the chat. I would see maybe the L Acoustics rig looking like maybe the JBLs, the Vertex, or something like that maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun little exercise to see if we could reveal the tech. So Good job. That was fun.
Thank you.
All right, I think we got time for one more live stream review. And this one comes from Academy Christian. And before we dive into that, I want you just to talk about, if you can, if you know, I'll let you choose if this one's not good. You talked about the replay machine that you guys do, that it has like a 15-minute buffer for your live stream. Can you talk to me about the why of a replay machine for live stream?
Yeah, so one of the things that's really important to us as it talks about, our live stream and really connecting with people online, not just from a service end, but from a holistic end, is making sure that the person online feels that everything is intentionally for them. We assume that most people before they go to any church are probably going to their website or looking at their service. And so we want to have a personal connection. We also really want to filter that communication to make sure it's relevant as much as possible to the person online and not in the audience. And so our online team does a fantastic job of hosting online groups. There are times that people drive in or fly in from all around the world to come they call it homecoming. And so people from Australia, New Zealand, England, Chicago, Wisconsin, all over the map come in and hang out, with their group online. And so a lot of times we cut out the welcome in our actual service because we're talking about something that's happening, down the hall in the church or in this other building. And that's not really relevant to someone who's not in the space or occupying the same city or zip code or something like that. And so we do that to buffer out and create flexibility for both our online team to communicate directly to their people, and our campus pastor and our campus team at our broadcast campus to communicate next steps without worrying about what's relevant, what's not.
Are you using Resi, or what are you using for encoding?
So we encode through Resi and then kick that out via Resi to Facebook, YouTube, and some other places. Cool.
All right, let's dive into our final live stream here. Academy Christian. They are using 3 Sony PTZ cameras, wall-mounted. They talk about how there's definitely a difference between the PTZs and one of their other ones that's a Canon camera. Sound is via a Wave server to Pro Tools, and some other stuff that I don't understand, a Raven MTI2 and Kali audio stuff for near field speakers, things that, I guess for running the stream. But yeah, let's listen and let's give some feedback to Academy Christian. After I clear my other thing here. Here we go.
Come on, sing this with me. When all I see is the battle, oh, you see my victory. Yes, you do. When all I see is the mountain, you see a mountain move. Thank you, God. And as I walk through the shadow, your love surrounds me. Yeah. 'Cause there's nothing to fear now, for my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you, and every fear I lay at your feet.
I love that you can hear background vocals.
Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Yes. Oh, and if you
All right, let's start with audio. What are you kind of hearing there?
Yeah, I hear a lot of acoustic, so maybe throttle that. But vocals are in a good spot. I think I hear that trigger 2 there on the snare there at the very end. Unmistakable sound, but it feels right. I think that drop down chorus. If you're running through a Pro Tools rig just for online, really encourage you to ride some of that crowd. And again, to no surprise, I would say celebrate your crowd. See hands going up. I see a silhouette of a hand going up. Light those people. Turn your house lights up. Make it communal and congregational. Otherwise, I'm a big believer that background vocals need to be in the mix. I don't know if they are good and they're putting in the work, and I would encourage every worship pastor put in the work to make background vocals great. Background vocals are the thing that make people sing. It's not just the individual worship leader. If you have a team up there that's leading, sing parts, create within that melody, create some dynamic in that melody, and that is the thing I really believe is background vocals the second most important thing in a mix, to make people engage with you rather than just listen to you.
How are you handling background vocals whenever things switch around during a service for the normal church that doesn't have a separate broadcast mix that's changing things on the fly? Like for us, we don't monitor our broadcast. It's all a post-fader thing. So, but we have stereo, we have mono house, stereo stream. So we pan vocalists, but then they may lead a song. Would that be a time to use snapshots like for the songs?
So we don't pan background. Well, I should say our broadcast engineer does pan just for broadcast. From a front of house perspective, which is what, if you follow my Instagram channel, that's just the front of house mix.
Okay.
We are not panning background vocals left and right. They're all just shotgun straight down. When we run at campuses, generally we're running all vocals into one group. If you spend a good bit of time dialing in gain structure to where they're somewhat consistent, we generally run our lead vocal about 7 to 10 dB hotter than the rest, and then just create a really good bed of vocals right underneath your lead. And when everyone starts getting after it, instead of bringing your BGVs up, bring your lead down so that the band picks up. Everything kind of matches the energy. You're essentially just bringing your lead down to meet the sound of the congregation.
Are you putting BGVs in their own like subgroup and compressing them together?
We are here at our campus, and so with an SD8 and most Digico things, you have the ability to do that. I am generally speaking, I'm running an F6 on the BGV group. That takes a little bit of, probably 3-4 dB gain reduction out of that, 3 to 6K, just so that you're not overlapping presence on the vocal, but you're getting the meat of the voice without a lot of the competing type stuff.
Okay. Are you running de-essers on all vocals?
If they need them. I prefer a lot of clarity, so we have some guys that have really muddy voices. Taylor, bearded guy with a hat, we usually don't do it. Bald guy with a hat, Bryce, we run 2 de-essers on him because he has a lot of sharp S's.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Let's fast forward to their next song and let's listen just a little bit more. I'm impressed with the way they're using their older PTZs with their pre-planned moves to kind of make it look like they're doing some sliders and stuff on some of these wide shots. So props for that. But you can see the dynamic range of them is lacking a little and some of that stuff, but I do like the way they're trying to utilize them. Let's listen a little more.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are more than able.
tasted and seen your goodness, Father. You are more than able. Who am I to deny what the Lord can do? Oh, it's easy for you. Thank you, God.
Now I see all that I have. Oh, I've got my confidence back. And I put my trust in the one who still does miracles. You do miracles.
I do like that I can hear that bass and kick, you know, in this church's stream, really holding down that foundation, you know.
This part right here is the big danger. If you go back and turn the volume up, that handoff from male to female,
heard
bump
it.
back about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Where the camera doesn't move off her, but the male vocal takes lead.
Now I see.
This part? Or when it goes back to
No,
him?
keep going. When it goes
Okay.
back to him and camera stays on her.
You're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do miracles.
You are more than
Should have popped back over to him.
Oh, yes, you are.
Yep, you're right.
You know, we have Thursday services, and for a long time we called them 3-camera Thursdays, where we'd have generally just 2 podiums and an auxiliary camera somewhere. I actually, to give kudos, I think the pacing of these cuts is what you should be doing when you have 3 cameras.
Yeah.
So many people try to outkick the coverage, and they're reckless with it, and they're trying to generate too much energy versus just have a really clean, transparent capture, and you end up, I think, communicating more pretense in that than you do honesty. And so good job actually using the tools as they're intended to use and cutting with good pace.
Absolutely, man. I think that's great. We got some comments here. Brian says crisp vocal. That's good. He said he also liked that there was guitar in the live stream mix. He's a guitarist, obviously. So
Yeah. I mean, mix sounds good. You know, vocals are right there. But assuming, I don't know if you have a staff member or a volunteer kind of mixing that, you're protecting the right things, you know, and that's all you can really ask sometimes when you're getting up and running.
yeah,
Is prioritize the right things. You don't want to mix where all you hear is drums and no vocals. And
Yeah.
so,
you know, one thing is we
Get 'em
can
there.
hear the drummer. We just can't see the drummer. So
yeah.
put a little LED light in there for him and the bass player back there in the back. You know, that would show them some love.
Yeah. You know, one thing that may just be encouraging for people to realize, and I remember hearing, I think Jacob Boyles, who is one of Elevation's creative directors, talk about this on one of their album shoots, is he was like, our inspiration for this was like a monster truck rally and like an old gospel church, which is just like the most light you have ever seen in an arena or in a worship service. And so I think they just got a bunch of sky panels and turned them on 56K and just, you know, ran it. Brightness is nowadays our friend. You know, 10, 15 years ago, you wanted to go into a dark, intimate environment. Light is now an important thing again, and I fully believe that we will have more churches with natural light, with windows that want to embrace the community that they're in, versus walking into a dark, oversaturated kind of room tucked in the back of a building somewhere. And so really work with even the lights that you purchase. If you can get natural colors out of that, if you can get 32K and 56K, you can have a great looking room, a human looking room, and a great looking broadcast, because that's what cameras are built around, not, you know, dark, saturated environments.
Yeah. That's a whole other discussion for another day, man. The way we build churches, right? You know?
Yeah.
So we could talk about that another time, man. That's great. I think we've had lots of good comments in the comment section. I've been trying to scroll through there. I would love for you, Brad, just to throw out, like, if people aren't following you on is Instagram the best place to kind of, you know, reach out and DM, like, follow your journey there, everything you're doing?
Yeah, generally speaking, it's the only place I actively post on social stuff. And again, my channel is so much about just what our team is up to and what we do and try to, why we do it. And I understand the thing that gets engagement is production, certainly trying to celebrate a little bit more of our creative and worship team as well, and give some love to those people. But yeah, hop along.
Yeah, that's great, dude. And you will have the trolls in the comments once you have some reels go viral. So, just stay the course. And I see your heart. Seriously, I want to encourage you. Before we hopped on this live stream, guys, like Brad was encouraging me. And I just want to publicly do that for you because, like, I hear your heart. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing it because all of us out here are gleaning a lot of wisdom, and like seeing behind the scenes is really encouraging to just see like you're just a normal dude like all the rest of us trying to make it the best you can. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time to come on here and share, with us today. So thank you.
Yeah, well, certainly humbled and honored for the ask. And I'd also just encourage everybody. Can I tell a story? Do we have time for that?
Absolutely.
One of our creative directors, Corey Burkhead, he's a good friend of mine. And I've always been someone who feels really confident in doing, but not confident in teaching or sharing. And he was really the one that said, man, you should just start making stuff and putting it out there. And he's like, there's so many other people like you that just want to be inspired, that want to learn, that want to see behind the curtain. And I think, specifically for production ministry, where it can be a little bit more secretive, or you don't know what you don't know, or resources aren't as accessible. I'm so grateful for so many, little collectives like MXU and Production Online and Philo and so many, even what you're doing here, just to set the sails a little bit, to build more intentional community and development and more shared learning. It is the biggest thing. And my hope is certainly that there are people that are going to take how we communicate through technology and how we share the gospel through technology exponentially further than people in my generation are doing, to keep reaching the lost, keep celebrating the name of Jesus, and keep humbly just serving the people that God's put in front of them. And so, if you're somebody who's like, man, I made this, but I don't think I should post it every single time. Just do it. It's fun.
That's cool, man. All right, guys. Will you let Brad know a big thank you in the chat for hopping on the live stream today? And I'm going to say goodbye to him, and we're going to continue in our next hour. So, Brad, thanks a bunch, dude.
Thanks, brother. See you.
All right. See you. All right. Well, that was a super fun hour. And, man, I can't say how thankful I am to each month having these really what I consider experts in our field come on and share just an hour of their time and glean some wisdom. Honestly, it's a selfish thing for me. I'm just trying to learn, guys, and let you also in on it. And so thankful for Brad and his team, as not only just today, but even over on Insta, being able to follow along their journey there. So in the last month, I have a whole note's worth of lots of new technology and things that I want to chat about today. We got a bunch of other live streams in the docket. And then we do have a super chat that has come through from Alex Miller. So Alex, if you did submit a live stream, go ahead and drop that in the chat, what church name that is. And that will put you up to the front of the line. And then if you just were being nice, then I just want to say thank you. If you'll just give me like a minute and just to get a drink and make sure all this other stuff is ready to go. And then we'll hop right back into it. Don't go anywhere, all right? We'll be right back. right, guys, we are back for hour number 2. Welcome to the live stream again. If you're just hopping on, I'm thankful that you're here with us. We are going to be doing some more live stream reviews, talking worship and media tech stuff. And I would love to know if you have any questions, if you want to talk about anything that you've seen come out, if you have any struggles that you want to jump in and chat about. I did have somebody ask, what program are you using to live stream? So I thought I might just dive in real quick before we jump into hour number 2 and explain my setup here. So currently, you are looking at a GH5 with a Sigma 18-35, and then I have a secondary camera of a Panasonic S5 Mark II with a Canon 85mm 1.8. And then let's see if my Jesus cam is still set up. It is. This is a GH4 with a 25mm 1.7. That was supposed to be my countdown cam, but H2R graphics was not cooperating. Speaking of H2R graphics, I run the chat off of this iPad that is connected to a program on my MacBook here that is outputting over HDMI into Command Central, which is this ATEM Mini Extreme, and it is using the downstream keyer. And I thought we might just see if we can get this fixed real quick with y'all's help. So like, let's see if I put up somebody with something that's gonna mess up. Whose was messing up? Let's see, Brian's was messing up. Okay, if we bring up software control, and then if I go here and bring over my software control, I need to adjust. Well, maybe I shouldn't have went full screen since I'm blocking it a little. It's either so like if my background, I'm having a dumb moment here. Like if I adjust the clip, see, it's gonna mess up everything. I'm fine with us doing this live because I want to get this figured out. I know not everything in Brian's picture is should I? No. What should my background be for my... Maybe it's not pure black on my background. Let me go into my settings here for H2R. It is pure black. Or if I type transparent, I don't think it's going to work on just a single HDMI. See, that doesn't work unless I do a pre-multiplied. Well, let me turn off the... If I did pre-multiplied maybe, and then did that? No. Now I've broken everything. Well, y'all aren't helping me any. You're just watching me. Let me bring it back over here. Trying to get my chat to be on the downstream key but not have y'all's pictures go all wonky. And I used to do it like this. Or maybe I had it on green screen. This is what I get whenever I change things, right? No, it's a downstream keyer though. It's not, and the ATEM doesn't have green screen on downstream key, so it has to be the Luma key. I don't know. I may just have to live with it. Let me put it back up. That's what's going on. I don't know. See, like H2R is just being weird today. Yeah, it closed my output. Maybe I need to reopen it now. Do. Is this fun? Y'all okay with me trying to... Brian says, check the flux capacitor. I know nothing. All right. Last thing, and then we're just going to move on. Just because... Hold on. All right. We're just going to move on. Y'all's pictures will just be weird. But at least we have chat. Alpha key instead of Luma key for next time. Yeah, I mean, see, like yours looks fine because the black levels of your picture is not there, like as close to the black. So, and I would have to run 2 independent outputs, which I don't have from my MacBook. Like, I'm already using them all. I don't have enough outputs. I only have 3, I think. Yeah. Well, because I'm using 1 to control the Stream Deck, because you can't... Can you guys plug your Stream Decks into USB splitters? Because I've never been able to. I always have to connect them direct to my Mac Studio, MacBook, everything. Whatever. Let's talk about some things that I've seen that have been fun. Let me get rid of software control over here. How many people did we lose? We still got 42 of y'all. Y'all like watching me fumble. That's fun. Okay. What are y'all's thoughts on this? POV, you use technology to worship by doing live VR painting. So he's in the back with a VR headset on, painting live up to the projector. I mean, the end result looks really cool. But is that too distracting? Is that just me? I don't know. I would just be like, where is this coming from? You know? Circle back. Come on, loop back. Yeah. Nobody seems distracted, so maybe just in there, they don't even know it's happening. They probably just think it's just a video. I've tried a USB that's powered and it didn't work. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. How about this projection at the Ark encounter, I think? At Shane and Shane's. Sunday Screens put this out. Oh, the Museum of the Bible. Look at that. Of course, it was more of a performative experience, not necessarily like a engage in worship kind of thing, like stand and sing, which is fine. But I love the way that they did that. Very inspiring. Seeing the Word, the Bible, wrapping around everybody like that. I thought that was cool. And then, of course, this one. Churches, hey, if your baby cries, could you take them out so it's not a distraction? Meanwhile, in worship. I love Shama's church. I think you mean content studio with background actors. It's funny because there's always that shred of truth. Like, are we doing too much? Oh, man. I mean, is the Mevo... Is it too much with the easy rig, you know, above everybody and just like completely blocking the front row? I don't know. Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. But let's check the comments. What are you thinking? I had the same issue. If you bring the clip and gain to 0, then bring it back up. Bring it down to 0 and then back up to where it was. I mean, why not? Let's just try it. All right, Brian, you're my test. All right, so currently it's on 7 and 75-ish. It's gonna get wonky here, guys. Oh gosh. I don't think that's... Yeah, no, it's not working for me. Oh well. This is something you test off air. Oh, let's see. What other links do I have here? And then I'm going to get to that super chat, Alex, before you give up on me. Somebody brought up the new Elgato Stream Deck thing. Yeah, that I did have a link to that. The Elgato rack mount. You know, it looks interesting. Is this at the Stream Deck Studio? Yeah. Looks expensive, and then you have to have a separate subscription to their buttons thing, which doesn't look too expensive. It's like $10 or something. But you could stack these. No, go away. Why can't I? Come on, B&H. Anyways, you guys get it. It's rack mountable Stream Deck. Basically, the buttons are a little bit wider. You have access to be able to plug in a Stream Deck on the front side. You could have like a tilted like desktop rack mount thing where you could have them all in there, and you can use it with companion just like you normally would. You know, a little Stream Deck like this or any of the others, and simultaneously as well. So yeah, I think it looks really interesting, but oh, I'm distracted by your comment now, Brian. Sorry. I do think it looks interesting. $900 though? Like, dang. I don't know. Like, I think it's definitely interesting, but it's expensive. I don't think it's something we will immediately integrate, is kind of how I feel about it. How about, I saw somebody post a new version of the P16 that has come out. It essentially doesn't look like it does anything differently, but oh, it already has the zoom for me. It just is laid out a little differently, and it has a few new kind of features, but it doesn't really add anything crazy different. Like, there's not like Dante or anything like that. So it's just kind of like a refresh as far as I can tell. I don't know if the old ones had MIDI in or not. but $189 for those. So that's something new. Yeah, there's some other stuff we can talk about. But before we do that, if you guys are here, you probably care about your live stream. And so I want to encourage you to listen to my sales pitch for just 3 seconds here. 1, 2, 3. Go to Next Level Livestreaming. It's on my website. $125, 18 modules. And it's basically my method that I've taken to, you know, up our live stream game. On our YouTube channel, we've grown 236% over here on CBC Owasso. And I've been pretty happy with the way that things have grown for us. You know, like, it's been a labor of
Gladness
love.
come before him with joyful songs.
And we've got multiple cameras and lots of stuff that's gone into it. Hey, there you are, Brian. So this is an excerpt of service a couple weeks ago. But the course, $125 gets you access to all of that. Basically, a lot of it you could probably glean from watching every video that's I've ever put on my channel. Not all of it, but it's a system that you could purchase and get access to an actual walkthrough of how we have gotten to where we have gotten. And yeah, I think that it's well worth the money. I've had quite a few of you already purchase it and has had great reviews so far. And so I'm just glad that it can be a help to churches. And, my mission is just that we would do great things for God's glory. And so if you can't afford it, reach out to me. We'll try to make it work. But I think that the cost is worth the investment in saving lots of money. We're on a budget here. All this stuff is done on a shoestring budget. So there you go. There's my sales pitch. Let's move on and let's get to some live stream reviews, baby. Come on. Here we go. All right. There is Medi on the other module. Thank you. All right. All right. What a world we live in. I love that y'all are so engaged in the chat. All right. Let me find Alex's stream. Brookhaven. You guys can always still submit. That link is in the description. And if you super chat, it'll move you to the front of the line. You don't have to do that. There's not a ton today. Let me pull this up and see how many we got. We already did 3. And there's 11 left. So if I'm definitely not going to get to 11 in the next 30 minutes. But if you want to move to the front, you can super chat, and that will push you to the front of the line because I can be bought, people. Got to feed them babies. Let's go. Alex with Brookhaven, if you're still there, let me know in the chat, and we'll get you going here. He says they have 10 cameras, 3 Blackmagic Studio 4K, 6Ks, 2 Pocket 6Ks, a Micro 4K, a Sony a6600, an Osmo Pocket 3? How are you getting the Osmo Pocket 3 into your live stream? Because there's no HDMI out. Because I want to put one on our cable cam, and there's not a good way to do it. Then they have a Canon XA25 and an ATEM 4ME HD for switching. Their main need is cam ops. Yeah, you have a lot of cameras. I could see that. Midas Pro outputting to Waves plugins. He says it's magic. Yeah, I've seen some really weird workarounds that are maybe using the IP, like you're streaming it, and then maybe like you're using a streaming bridge to pull it down and then outputting that. But the latency's got to be really bad, if you're doing that. So let's get it fired up here. Brookhaven Church. Get rid of that. And remember, I need y'all's help in the chat because I'm all on my lonesome now. So I don't have Brad to help me out. Here we go. Click that button. Pretty shots. There we go. Camera looks good.
Over our lives.
I wish it was on a slider. You know, give me some motion.
I just want to speak the name of Jesus
Feedback?
over every heart and every
Tell her to put her other ear in. Female vocalist, come on.
I know there is peace within your presence.
I'm hearing plosives and sibilants.
Jesus.
That may be that capsule on her voice, I don't know.
I just want to speak.
I like those
the name
LED
of
tape behind it. Looks really good with the beams coming up behind. Lighting is on point. The key light is really good balance with it. Acoustic sounds nice. Good finger picking.
There is freedom. I speak Jesus.
Maybe a little much on the
Your
ride.
name is power. Your name is healing. Your name is life. Break every stronghold.
There's some movement. I
Shine
like it.
through the shadows.
Let's
Burn
guess.
like a fire.
Let's try to guess which one is the Pocket 3. I mean, that could be it. He didn't say anything about wireless on other things.
The name of Jesus over fear and all anxiety,
Okay, that was it.
till every soul held captive by depression. I speak Jesus.
Yeah, but how's the latency on it? I don't trust my monitoring here to be exact latency. So you guys tell me.
Your name is healing.
It's wide though. It's not a tight shot, so you can kind of get away with it maybe. That's a good looking
Break
shot.
every stronghold. Shine through the shadows.
All the color balance, white balance stuff looks great.
Like a fire. Your name is power.
I wonder if the toms are spread too far on the stereo field.
Your name is light. Break every stronghold. Shine through the shadows. Burn light.
Hey, that Osmo, just being able to move around the sanctuary just gives you so many more options. So let us know how you're doing it. Don't gatekeep.
In the streets. Jesus in the darkness over every enemy.
Stage design looks great. The black floor
Jesus
reflecting.
for my family.
Love the slow on this purposeful, like we came down, now we're kind of like pulling back out. Instrumental, go to the pianist. Drums. Okay, vocal is fine. We got big.
Jesus in the streets.
Bam,
Jesus
bam.
in the darkness over every enemy. Jesus for my family.
Here's some drums.
I speak the holy name.
Got the heartbeat cymbals, very nice. Oh, focus pull. Come on.
Your name is power.
Close.
Your name is healing. Your name is life.
Thank you for lighting the drum cage.
Break every stronghold. Shine through the shadows. Burn like a fire.
I guess I'm kind of wondering, like, why you have your LED wall up so high. I like that it's up above people's heads, but like, that's an expensive wall that is not being used. Like half of it's up where you're not really looking at it. Like you got your lyrics on like the bottom ribbon, basically. Like, can it come down 4 feet and utilize it to like really display the lyrics bigger? Just a thought.
Over every heart.
Can we hear the church start singing maybe at this point?
'Cause I know there is peace within your presence. I speak Jesus. Speak the name of Jesus over every circumstance. We speak your name. There's healing in your name.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there, Alex. Sometimes you're introducing a song and your church is kind of like just getting it. You know, there's not like a lot of engagement for you to show on the live stream. So you're relying on your team. But these kinds of shots are great. I'm going to ask you again how you're doing the Osmo thing unless you put it. Just, you know, go ahead and tell us. That'd be great. It won't flip up without some other device in the mix for USB to USB webcam. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I think with your drums, I feel like your ride could come down a little bit and maybe the stereo spread could just like kind of come in just a little bit. They sound good. I love it, man. Sounds great. Popping over to another wide shot. It's always great if you can go from one being in motion to another being in motion instead of like motion to static, but you know, sometimes you can't do that. I think you guys are doing a great job. Seriously, love the intentionality of the directing, love the shot positioning, stage design. Look at this, like key light on your pastor looks great. He's separated off the background, just enough hair light to get him there. Does he not move? Are you blessed by that? Yeah, he's just chilling, at least this week. Well, that makes your job easy. All right, man. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Very nice, very nice. Drink break. All right. Checking y'all's comments. Good job, good job. I agree. Well, thank you for submitting. And I will be deleting that. And now we'll go to back to here. All right, next up we have Anthem Church. Josh Hickson submitted. They're actually just down the road from us here. And they have 3 locked off Blackmagic Pocket 4K cameras. Blackmagic old switcher. They're aware that they have one that vibrates on the back wall. So, you know, if you guys have a camera mounted on a wall, if you found a solution for that to not vibrate, post that in the comments below for them. And they have a sweet system for PA. They got an L Acoustics PA driven by Avantis. No waves or external processing. Stream comes off a matrix. Shotgun mics underneath the main hangs for some extra stuff there. He says the biggest pain point is making volunteers care as much as you do. So maybe you guys can relate with that. You spend so much time trying to get things dialed in, get things perfected, and then you're just, you know, putting it in the hands of volunteers that, you know, they care, but it's just not on the same level as you. And so how do you inspire your volunteers to have that same passion that you do? All right, let's listen to Anthem Church. Looks like you got a bunch of jolts around the stage there. You got some nice lighting, backlight, wash, multi-level stage. I see that shake.
And he is everything I need, so I will not worry. I will not fear the enemy. He said that he loves me. He said that he's with me, even though I walk through the valley of shadow and death, and still I know he has good plans. He has good plans.
23 flavors.
So I will take heart in deserts and gardens. He has good plans. He
really have always liked how Anthem Church does their lyrics. They're really intentional about not just throwing the lyrics up there. They try to take time to design them here.
The Lord is my Savior, so why should I doubt my victory?
I do like the amount of effects on the vocals. It makes it feel live in the mix. Kick and snare sound good.
He quiets the storm inside of me, so what could be better than walking with him when I believe he has goodness for me. So I will
Team sounds really good. Obviously, as a video guy, like, I wish there was more video stuff happening. I think the room appears to be like a great environment, and I wish that it was coming through on the live stream. I wish that it was translating for the viewer what was happening there in the room. The audio is key, obviously, and it sounds great. So good job with that. I think I would just take this camera off the back wall if you can't get rid of the shake. Just throw it on a tripod. Obviously, if you can't, if it's space, I do have a video on my channel about that pole that we built. If that's an option, you could have somebody in your church build that pole and put it on that, or buy a mount from Savvy. Ooh, look at those jolts coming out. Let's go. Build it up. Uh-huh. I like that energy, silhouetting the band, kinda. You know, you got so much going on there on stage with drummers and keys that I wish we could see. A lot of noise in this camera, even with all the light there. Love that shot, that mid shot with people worshiping. Yeah, I think video-wise, you've got 3 cameras. I would just maybe put them in the hands of volunteers at this point. If you can't afford to buy new cameras, recruit some volunteers. Put them in the hands of people. Go handheld. Put one person handheld on stage. They don't have to be wireless. You know? Get them attached to an SDI line. Throw them on side stage. Then have one center shot on sticks and one wireless roaming out in the crowd that can come back for preach time and go back on the sticks for, you know, a follow cam. That way you'd have 2 for preach. And you would be fine, because like I did notice here for preach, like you have a medium shot still, that kind of side shot. But like preaching time, this is just like, as a viewer, not good. I mean, it's just a wide shot. We kind of see the notes, maybe, is why you're doing it widescreen like this. But I mean, I much prefer a tight shot that's following pastor around if you can, you know. So those are my notes for Anthem Church. But Anthem Church is one of the most like vibey, beautiful spaces when they redid it. If you guys need inspiration for like modern spaces, like I think I might have stolen when I made my church lobby design video. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was actually only places I went. If you Google though, you can find some of their stuff. You guys probably didn't even know I had this video. If you need some inspiration for remodel stuff, you can go check this one out though. We visited a bunch of churches because we have a big remodel coming up. Yeah. Speaking of that, man, we've been meeting with integrators. We're meeting with DC Pro again this last week, and things are trucking along. We have groundbreaking this Sunday. It's gonna be awesome. Well, technically groundbreaking is Monday, but our photo op is Sunday. And then, you know, get the official schedule for when I have to move out of one place into our smaller venue. Excited to release, hopefully next week, a special video for our new LED wall that we got installed in our smaller venue over this last month. Been using it and loving it. It's a budget-friendly solution. And you guys know I've toiled over that decision for the last really 6 months. And we've done a lot of research. So hopefully that can be a resource for you guys. And I can be a resource of just bouncing questions off of. I'm not like an expert or anything, but I definitely have done too much research at this point. I'm the guy who's like, I'm going to buy a lawnmower that costs $100. So let me spend 15 hours reading every review, you know, and talking to everyone. So, yeah. Do I have a video on best camera settings on your page? We got our Panasonic S5 2X in with a Sigma 200 f2.8. Well, let's see here. When you think about best camera settings, I mean, there's so many things that can affect that as far as your environment. So I don't know that I have a video that's like, here are your settings, but I can give you some generic. Combine general and generic advice. What frame rate do you want to shoot at? You want to shoot at 2997? That would be my preference. Then I'm going to put I'm still a shutter speed guy, just because it's easier for me. So I'm going to put my shutter speed at 60. I'm going to put my f-stop, depending on what the shot is, probably going to put it at 2.8. And then I'm going to adjust my ISO accordingly if my light is good in the room to get my exposure. Now, if you need less depth of field, if you need more things in focus, then bring that f-stop down to f4, f5.6. You're going to have to put your ISO up higher. The S5 2X is dual native ISO. I believe at like, don't quote me on this, on like 340, and then like, I don't know, Google it. Maybe it's not up to 12,800. It's like, there's somewhere in there, you know, where it cleans back up. So I would try to hit that next ISO where it's clean again. It's going to be relatively clean. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. But that's what I would do. I'm a fan of low f-stops, though. As long as you're not having to rely on autofocus. Although this S5 2X right here, it's been doing great with autofocus with Canon glass on the Sigma MC21 adapter. So, yeah. You're welcome. Glad that could help. All right, let's do another few live stream reviews. I'm going to go a little faster through these. Let's see. I did that one. Where? Okay. My German fella's still with me in the chat. Here we go. This is Jeremiah McKinney with New Life Fellowship. They have 2 Canon C300s, 4 Blackmagic Micros, 3 Blackmagic Studio 4Ks, Ross switchers.
That you're gonna do exceedingly and according to the power. We're standing on the promises of God.
But look here. You know what? This is really interesting. Quality. 720. All that gear. And you're encoding in 720? Come on, bruh. And look, the stream quality is suffering.
Come on, with your voices lifted in this room, would you let your faith begin to rise? Lord, we believe that you are the God of impossibilities. When we speak it out in faith, mountains can be moved, chains can be broken. Hey, foundation.
All right, so I may have already listened to this one because I was super impressed with the band, and I was like, man, they're getting after it. It sounds more like the broadcast mix sounds to me more like that studio quality thing. Like, it doesn't feel live to me. Also, it sounds like whoever's running the broadcast mix is like the keyboard player's dad, because it's all I can hear.
Nations are shaking and every curse is breaking. Strongholds are falling and greater things are coming. Say,
Foundations
come on, lift your
are
voice.
shaking,
Every curse.
and every curse is breaking.
Say, strongholds
Strongholds
falling.
are falling.
You see what I mean?
Hallelujah.
And greater things
Lift your
are
voice in the room.
Foundations are shaking.
Every curse is gonna break in the name of Jesus. Strongholds.
I mean, their team is getting after it. The bass player, guitars, drums, the vocalists. All I can hear is that 80
Lift
cents.
your voice and say the mountains.
And they're awesome.
The weapons we're standing on the promises of God. And we've seen it live.
And they're getting after it. Yeah, I think this is just a great example of having great gear, but then that one piece of technology throttling everything down. Like, we were having this conversation about our remodel, where if we're going to do things like with 12G SDI, well, okay, if you want to do things in 4K, everything is going to have to be able to do 4K. It's that one adapter that is going to take everything down. So here, you got C300s, but we're broadcasting in 720p. Are we encoding with OBS, and it's like on some Windows computer in a closet? Who knows? I don't know. They didn't say how they're encoding. So that's just an important reminder for me to, like, every step of the chain has to be thought through. So beyond that, I think y'all are killing it. So good job. Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head. I didn't even know it. All right, let's move on to another live stream review. Did you guys see Affinity Designer is free for nonprofits? That's something you could look into. New Hollyland headsets came out that are called the Hollyland SE. They're basically 2.4 gigahertz. They're really cheap too. Sony came out with 1-inch camcorders. Oh, wait. What is this? Hold on. I might have answered my own question about the wall vibration. Okay. I got to share this real quick. I saved this link, and then we were talking about that wall mount thing. Come on, load. 0 wall mount bracket. Somebody posted in a Facebook group these that actually supposedly take out like vibrations and stuff. So I forget who was asking about it, but let me see if I can post that. There you go. Something to look into, though. I have not personally used these. They were getting rave reviews, so. Done that one. Did that. All right, the next one in order of submissions is West Oaks Baptist Church, Nathan Lloyd. Nathan, I'm pretty sure you submitted a few times. For our video system, they run AV cans, 20x NDI PTZs. Those are like Amazon specials, I think. Camera goes over NDI to easy worship. They mix lyrics and video. Send it out via HDMI into our Livestream encoder. At our Livestream encoder, we mix audio, video, graphics. Send it out to DACast, sends it to our website. Biggest pain point is audio. They're running on a Yamaha MG20. Well, let's open it up and see. So we got fiber installed in our building yesterday. I got to get that put together on our Unify system. Move from coax. Have y'all ever done that? I'm not a network guy, but I guess I need to like update our static IP and WP4, WVPN4 settings, and I mean they gave me all that, but I just like I'm scared to break everything before Sunday morning too. So all right, let's go back here to some musica. I think that's Nathan, isn't it? All right. There we go. They got it moved over.
Christ of our redemption, see the Father's plan unfold, bringing many sons to glory, grace unmeasured, love untold.
Nathan, it doesn't look like you have any lighting or anything, so it's just house lighting. I'm not sure your lyrics need to be that big. I like that I can hear everything. I mean, your vocals, guitar, piano. It sounds like I can hear the church singing a little bit.
As we will be when he comes. What a foretaste of deliverance, how unwavering our hope.
Like I just let it use DHCP to get the ISP settings. That's what it's set to do currently. I don't know. I might just unplug it and plug the other one in and see if it works. I mean, you said you have the PTZs, but I'm not really seeing anything being used with the PTZs. It looks like your fluorescent lights maybe have that rolling shutter stuff. But Jordan, wouldn't I need... Why do I need static IP? Like, why do we have that then? Is that for like VLAN, or not VLAN, VPN into stuff? Like we had our own server? We don't. We do everything through Google Workspace. I mean, we have camera systems for security, but I would say also, Nathan, like, I'm assuming you're the worship leader. Having that music stand is really disengaging for me as a live stream viewer. Like, you're just looking down at the music. So if you could have a confidence monitor up, kind of where the cameras are, a little, and just every once in a while show the worship center. Like, I have no idea. I'm not sure it ever showed like a wide shot. So I'm not sure kind of like what space we're living in. Okay, here's a little wider shot. Okay, so there's a pianist. some other vocalists. Yeah. So I would try to pop between this every once in a while. You know, just to give some context there. But yeah, if you could, I think those AV cans, you said it's 20x, so it should be able to give you a super wide as well. Yeah, I mean, I understand. So yeah, let's talk about IP stuff. I understand DHCP for internal network. What I'm saying is that the ISP gives you a static IP from your internet service provider. So Cox, our local place, you know, AT&T, Cox. You either have a dynamic IP from your internet service provider, or we have one static IP. In our Dream Machine from Unify, there's a section where you can go in and tell it, you know, either use the static IP or use DHCP to obtain that dynamic IP. I just don't understand the benefit of using the static IP unless we were VPNing into a server that we had locally here in the closet, which we used to 5 years ago. But now that everything's on Google Workspace, Google Drive, what's the benefit? I've also heard that having a static IP is actually less secure than having dynamic for like being hacked and stuff. So I may just unplug our coax router from our Dream Machine, plug in from the new fiber switch, and just see what happens. I mean, nobody's working on Friday, so. But this is different than like our internal network. Obviously, our Unify system hands out the IP addresses internally. We had to open up a larger subnet to allow for more IPs because I have not done a good job of creating enough VLANs. God, the acronyms. So like I need to do a better job of creating VLANs for like our tech stuff. A VLAN for, they call it EOTs or something, like Alexa devices, thermostats, just junk that needs Wi-Fi. But you don't want it on like your staff network or whatever. So, but those eat into your IP addresses, right? So IoT, thank you. Thank you. What does that IoT stand for? Informational DHCs will just assign it to one of those. Yeah, I mean, we have a guest network that's blocked off. Internet of Things, thank you. Guest network is blocked off on its own thing. So we have 3 VLANs currently. Utilities, CBC Secure, CBC Guest. But yeah, I should have created like a IoT, which was kind of what our utilities was, but I don't know. So yeah, I don't like doing networking, but it's like part of my job, you know, and maybe it's part of your job that you're like Googling things constantly, trying to figure things out. I am thankful for Unify. I'm excited to have fiber and maybe try some different things like tethered current. Let me grab this other thing. Spin move. Spin back. I've got this little guy right here. Oh, let's see, S52 from ZowieTech. They make some cool little devices. This is, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, I got too many screens going here. I mean, this is an encoder, but they have some interesting boxes. This is a SDI encoder that can also do, well, I don't think that's the one that I'm seeing. This is SDI NDI video encoder or decoder, but it can do scheduled streaming to multiple platforms. It can do kind of like what a web presenter can do, but like but multiple platforms. So like no restream, basically, all through this little guy. But what it also, they also have a box that you could send like a ProPresenter NDI feed. So that was, I had the streaming. They have, maybe that's what I'm on right now is the, yeah, so I have the streaming, but you could put boxes in 2 different spots of your building and do like an NDI feed and do real-time video, 0 latency to like, maybe you need to send your multi-view over the network to a green room. Like that's a thing I've thought about. Instead of having to run a SDI cable separately or something, you could somehow do that with 2 of these boxes, you know? So, yeah. Oh, look.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. What's your church name? We'll get you reviewed. Thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. Looking through these comments. Going static will keep your sanity long term and you will not wonder if DHCP switched it on you. Okay. Static IP works for us and saves us heartaches and headaches, especially when the usual guy is away. Okay. So maybe it's worth it. I didn't understand on their sheet they gave me. It said, it didn't say static IP, it said available IP. And I know we only have one. Obviously, I'm not going to show you guys that sheet because then you could hack me. Hacker. But it said, here it is. As the network gateway usable and the subnet for the IPv4. And I'm assuming usable is our static IP. You guys, I'm not a network guy. Anyways, let's look up South Shores. And this is our last one for the day, so don't super chat anymore unless you just love me and want to give me money. Well, you want to give me 60% of the money that you super chat because YouTube gets the rest. South Shores, here we go, found you. They have 3 Canon XF605s, 2 Canon CR N500s. Okay, you got the nice, PTZs, and then a Studio 4K. Trying to find the sweet spot for drums. Livestream stereo, post aux mix off the front of house, Allen and Heath D Live. Okay, yeah, so that's what a lot of us are doing. Let me pull up your link. Here we go. Yeah, I've reviewed you guys. See, it's like a lot, like just barely under. It seems much louder than a lot of the others we listen to. I mean, I don't know if it's bad as long as it's not like squashing the mix too much. Seems just like maybe like hitting just a touch. My dad would love that snare sound. I feel like it's a lot more like tone to it. Like it's not as like dead deep.
Let everything that has breath, rejoice. Let everything that has breath. And
I like that
again
shot.
rejoice.
Oh yeah, I remember like you guys don't run tracks really, I don't think, and it's more like I remember talking about like your style was like this is y'all are just leaning into who you are.
A royal priesthood, we glorify and bless your name. Oh, what an honor.
Or I'm dreaming and I've never reviewed you.
To lift you up, and give you praise. To lift you up, and give you, to lift you up and give you praise. Lift you up and give you praise. Rejoice, rejoice.
I mean, this is giving me kind of like 4th of July vibes with the red, white, and blue lighting.
Let everything that has breath, because you are worthy, God, you are mighty, Lord, you are awesome and holy and great. Rejoice, rejoice. Let everything that has breath. And again,
Yeah, I think the balance that I'm not hearing with the drums is like I'm hearing a lot of top end bite from the drums, like cymbals and snare, that I don't think you need. Like the vocals are there already, and I think the drums are competing in that frequency range that they don't need to be. Like kick and snare, kick is down there with bass, snare does not need to be up in the high, like cymbals don't need to be up there as loud. So I think that may be part of the problem, because it's really biting into my ears, I feel like.
gonna stop, never stop blessing your name. I'm never gonna stop, never
turn it down.
gonna stop, never stop giving you praise. I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop, never stop blessing your name. Never gonna stop, I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop, never stop giving you praise. I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop, never stop blessing your name. Rejoice, rejoice. Let everything that has breath, oh, rejoice, rejoice. Let everything that has breath, because you are worthy.
So if she stays at that mic most of the time, I would probably frame her even a little further back on that third. So like I would put her head right here if I could, instead of like right in the center if this is just a locked off shot. If she's singing right here most of the time, and just give a little more looking space, unless this girl is like always right here. But she seems to be moving back and forth quite a bit, so
God, you are mighty. Lord, you are awesome and holy and great. Rejoice, rejoice. Let everything that has breath. And again I say, rejoice, rejoice.
I like that shot.
And again I say, rejoice, rejoice. And again I say, rejoice, rejoice. And again I say, rejoice, rejoice.
So do you have choir in certain services? I'm assuming that you do, since you have chairs up there. And you might be getting bleed from your cymbals and snare into these vocal mics. That might be happening since that top isn't on the drums and you're so close. That might be happening.
Feels good to be in church, right? A little hot outside. We'll do some fun songs. Here we go. Hallelujah. I'm forgiven. Praise
Yeah, let's see that hi-hat is just kind of...
God in heaven who reigns. Hallelujah. Christ is risen. Now every heart has a way. Now there's nothing left to do but give you praise. That's
groovy.
There's nothing left to do but give you praise. Jesus, so
Even that cross stick is like killing it. It's too loud.
there's nothing left to do but give you praise. Isn't that nice?
And maybe the reverb needs to be
Love the Lord.
high cut, low cut on the
None of
drums.
this world can touch you. Even after death, God has you in his hands. There's no fear. Because there's life after death. We have a peace and a hope in our hearts. Hallelujah. We gotta thank the Lord for that. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
I mean, the band sounds great. Like,
for your
grooving.
patience with me. Oh,
It
yeah.
sounds like music, you know? Sounds like a band. Actually has some soul to it.
Now I'm seeing, and Lord, I'm looking at you. Now there's nothing left to do but give you praise. There's nothing left to do but give you praise. Jesus, only you get all my praise.
Also, is the Nord on a pallet rolling thing? That's interesting. Like a little homemade Nord rolling rack. Oh, okay. So this one can move. And look, that's exactly the framing I was talking about. Perfect. You got it. Let's see if we can hear him.
Jesus, only you get
We got that Rhodes sound going. Cool. All right, fellas. It's time for lunch. Thanks for being here. It's been a fun one. Remember to go and buy my live stream course and to use all of my affiliate links in every video I've ever listed if you're going to buy things, even diapers. Just go click on one of my links because it's good for 24 hours. Oh, seriously, though, I love that I get to do this. I love that I get to make YouTube videos just documenting what I'm doing here at the church as a worship and media arts pastor. There's been so much happening that I haven't gotten to, like, document. We've literally built a whole stage across the hall from me in the last 3 weeks, preparing to move over here and go to 3 services that I tried to capture some stuff, but, like, there's just so much happening. You know, we are moving our whole broadcast room that you guys might be familiar with. That's in the back of our booth into a 6x6 room that is currently our server room. I will show you real quick. Let's see if I can find it. And it is becoming quite the project. I'll just make a whole video about it sometime. I can't. Oh, wait. Here it is. Yeah. So let me airdrop this over to you. I'll show you this. This is what we're gonna have to work with. Oh, come here, you little guy. I'm full screen over here. So this room is going to be our new broadcast room. So Brett, my TD, is going to be in there every Sunday. So all of this has to be cleaned out. And this looks much better already. This is what it was. And there's no air conditioning in there either. So that's going to be fun. So stick around for the journey if you're not subscribed yet and you want to see how this turns out. Hit that subscribe button. Remember, guys, we do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for God's glory. I hope you have an awesome weekend. That Spirit moves mightily in your service. Mightily? That God just shows up and does great things at your church. And that technology doesn't get in the way, that it just enhances and points people to Jesus. So let's have a great one. We'll see you next time. Later.